I've been up since like 4 a.m. Because I've been really distressed about a conversation I've had with a friend I've known for a really long time. This video that Emily has talked about are the continuous things that I feel like happen so much with autistic people. And this is like why I'm upset with or this issue that I'm having with my friend is that I honestly think a lot of autistic people really try to go out of their way. Like, they push themselves out of their comfort zone, especially those who are highly verbal, and especially women, autistic women. Because, like, we know that's, like, what you need to do to be socially accepted. We know you have to kind of, be compassionate and stuff. And I think a lot of us want to do that and are capable of doing that. But the way we convey it is it's very different. And so what I think for myself, and it could be just my black and white thinking of, like, what is me going out of my way for somebody, it just doesn't, it always comes to a point where, like, I'm just not doing enough. Even though, if on paper, if I wrote this down, and I have with, like, encounters with friends of, like, here's literally all the things of how I go out of my way for you. And I mean, not to necessarily compare, how I'm doing more for you than you are doing for me, but sometimes it feels like it always keeps coming up to that. Like, people might say, well, why are you making this list in your mind of, like, what I've done wrong or what you're doing or what I'm not doing enough. I'm like, aren't you literally doing that to me? So, like, I'm just trying to convey the same thing that you're conveying to me, but how I'm perceiving it. And I'm hoping that the more I try to explain to you how I'm perceiving it, the more it'll be obvious to you to understand, like, why my actions may come out this way. But it never gets perceived like that. Like, I know, like, this is something I've been seeing a lot in this app, where it's just, like, with autistic people or neurodivergent people, you have this need to keep over-explaining something, and by doing that, it just makes it worse. And this is the thing that, really sucks about having autism, is, like, you want to connect with people, you want to do your best to, like, to please the people that you love and care about, but you always come up to a point where you're just really falling short. And it's not like you don't try, but, like, the minute you try to ask for some help or maybe some understanding, it feels like you just get thrown reasons why your need is, like, being selfish, or, like, how it feels like people then are talking about all these other ways that they go out of your way for you. And it's not like, and honestly, it's not like autistic people don't see that. I feel like we're really perceptive, and especially for me, like, I see people, like, I know how strict in my mind, like, how I can be with going out with friends, trying to meet up, and how it's difficult. But when I do have those meetups, like, during those times, I really try to, like, be there for the person and try to go out my way. But even then, like, my body, my brain just reach a threshold that I can't control. And it's hard because people are like, well, why don't you just say that? Why don't you communicate that? It's because, like, I don't even know what's going on in my fucking head right now. Like, in those times when you're really distressed or overwhelmed or overstimulated, I'm only literally, like, because of my diagnosis, I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. Now I know how to communicate that stuff. But before, if I did, it was just like me being difficult or me being selfish. But even now with a diagnosis, it's like, well, now you're just making your autism as an excuse. So it's like, how are you supposed to get through to somebody? What's the point of trying to connect with people when you try your hardest, but it doesn't feel like anybody, like you're just consistently misunderstood. And it's just so frustrating. Because I'm really trying to understand. And I'm really trying to want to be there for the people that I care about. But, like, I feel like even if I do try, like, that I just can't. And, you know, it really sucks. Like, that's where I feel like the deficit in autism and the disability of it comes in. It's like, you're really trying to be something. You're really trying to challenge yourself. But you just can't do it. You're limited in that, and it's just really frustrating.